Well, we're at mile 1,214. So I've been trying to do these gear videos to keep folks appraised of what's going on, what works, what hasn't worked. And one of the reasons why I haven't done more is because I've kept the same gear with very small changes. It's really been the same kit that I had at the beginning I have now. I know some people will just go with a liner when it's warm. Sleeping bag liner, won't have their bag. I've had my bag the whole way. It's a 20 bag, so I haven't changed that out. I've been happy with my thermarest. I mean, as happy as can be. I mean, it's really simple. I don't have to inflate it. But I'll just go through everything I have again. So, I mean, the big change has been my bag, which went from an Atmos 50 to an Atmos 65. I'll just go through everything. So I still have my solo stove. I'm really, really happy with that. I have the beer can stove that can run denatured alcohol. Really love the solo stove. I think it's an excellent stove. The alcohol stove, I think, you can make a beer can stove for nothing with a cat food tin or a soda can. For 20 bucks, you can get a really good stove that has a cap, so if you don't use all the fuel, you can keep it in there, and it burns really well. In addition, the wood stove is excellent, and it's great having that as an option because if you run out of alcohol, you can always use the wood stove. I only use the wood stove for the entire state of Maine. So the solo stove, this is not the large one, this is the smaller one. Really happy with this, extremely happy with this. And I keep saying I want to do a video just going through how it works and showing how it works, but I will eventually. The other thing I've been really happy with are these Darn Tough socks. I have 3 pairs. They've been great. There's one pair that has a very small hole in them, but they have a very good, from what my understanding is, they have a very good customer service program, good warranty service. And these have a lifetime guarantee, so I'm probably not going to be, writing them or sending in the damaged socks, but I'm confident that they'll replace any damaged stuff. So those are great. Still have the platypus bags, a 2-liter, which has been fine, and I picked up a 1-liter. My only complaint with these is that the 1-liter that I picked up had one of the squirt tops, and I actually am using a smart water cap for this. The cap that pops out so you can squirt it is it always was coming off. It's a totally different configuration. So I was not very happy with that. I'm not really sure. I don't really understand why they would change the caps on that one. And it might have been my mistake in buying a sport bottle. But really happy with platypus bags. They're great. Still augmenting my calories with olive oil. Really good idea. For my underwear, I still have these. I have 2 pairs of these Russell Athletic synthetic shorts. They're not really showing up very well. Those are like 10 bucks at Walmart. Excellent. I still get chafing, but it's not from the shorts. It's just from chafing. Another thing I'm extremely happy with is this Patagonia silk weight Capilene top. I've read some places where people have said that these do have an odor after a while, but honestly, compared to other clothing, these stay remarkably odor-free and it's held up extremely well. There's a very small tear on the back from where I almost got hit by a tree falling over and I had to jump into some bushes back in Maine. But that also has held up extremely well. Still have my iPad, my Mophie battery, which is the millstone around my neck. If I got rid of this stuff, I'd be a lot lighter. But having an iPad means you can carry 5 or 6 books, and I really like to read when I get a chance, especially on a day like today when it's been raining. So I like that a lot. I do have a new headlamp. It's this Petzl Tika, which is the bottom end, I think it's the cheapest Petzl you can get. Cost me about $30 at REI. Only has 2 settings. And I had previously a black diamond. I can't even remember the model, that broke shortly after I got past the White Mountains. This has held up since then, since Hanover. Works well. Takes 3 AA batteries, and I like there's a feature on it where if you've been running the headlamp for a little while, there's a fluorescent material in the reflector here, and it will glow green and give you a little bit of light, so you can turn off your light and still be able to see a little bit. Really like this lamp, and for a cheap $30 lamp, it's great. Something else I found, I picked this up, I just found it. It's a minimalist umbrella, a little tote travel umbrella. Doesn't weigh very much, but when it is raining, it's great to put this over you. Keeps you a little drier. And if you're going up and down hills, your rain gear, people don't like wearing rain gear because it makes you sweat. An umbrella doesn't make you sweat at all. This doesn't weigh very much at all, and keeps you a little bit drier. I mean, it helps keep your pack a little bit drier. Especially when you're hitchhiking, if you're standing in one place, this is great. So I've been testing it out. I've seen other people with umbrellas, really little ones, but I'm happy with this so far. This is something I picked up along the way. Really like that. I do like having a second. I have the solo stove, which comes with a titanium pot. I also have this little, like $5 or $6 camp cup from Walmart. I've been using this to make coffee in the mornings, and I put it directly on the stove. It's great. Like it a lot. One of the other things I had to swap out were my food bags. There was something I got online. There were 3 bags, and I saw a lot of other people had them. They were red, yellow, and blue. This is the only one that survived. I think they were made by Outdoor Products. This is the one I keep my electrical stuff in. This one is held up. But both of the food bags, the red and the yellow one, which I think are, I'm not sure, like 12 liters and 8 liters. Both of those fell apart. The clasp on them fell apart. Not too well made. But I picked up a Sea to Summit waterproof. This is a 9 liter. This is working great. And then I got this one. I mean, I was just grabbing whatever I could find. This is a Granite Gear. I think this is a 12 liter. I'm not entirely sure. Let me see. But, yeah, it's a 12 liter. So for my food bags, I had to get new ones. Both these are working out fine. Still have my sleeping bag liner, which is a Sea to Summit Cool Max. I think it is a really good idea to have one of these. There were nights when it was hot. I only use this. At night, I'll often bunch my sleeping bag up to make a little pillow and read for a little bit and just have this over my feet and my legs. Which, even when it's cold, you're so heated up from the day, you can go maybe half an hour before you have to get under your sleeping bag before it gets too cold. So sleeping bag liner. This will give another 10 degrees to your bag. So I have a 20 bag. In theory, this would make it a 10-degree bag. And if you wear some clothes, it's going to be even warmer. I think that there's a myth out there that if you get naked, if you're not wearing any clothes or just wearing your underwear under your sleeping bag, you're going to be warmer. From my understanding, that's absolutely not true. You want to be wearing a layer of clothes. It'll give you another 10 degrees. So with the sleeping bag liner, a coat, my Capilene, I'm wearing my Capilene underwear right now. You're going to be in good shape. Still have this Nano Sea to Summit dry bag. It's a 6 liter. Keep that for my clothes. Those are working out fine. My hiking clothes. These are my hiking clothes here. The Silk White Capilene Patagonia, the Russells, and then these are the EMS zip-off pants. Don't even know the exact brand. I had some trouble with my zip-offs coming from Maine. I had one pair that ripped while I was in the 100-mile wilderness. Bought a pair of Columbia, the sunblock. I can't remember the exact make. Those also split in the back. I bought a bathing suit. I cut the liner out of. But I picked these up in Hanover at EMS, and they've been great. I wish I'd gotten another pair of these or had a newer pair when I started, because honestly, I think that they are very well made. You get these in EMS, they zip off. My only complaint is the belt. Sometimes you got to adjust it a lot. Those have been good. Still have the thermarest, cheapo thermarest, which I like because I don't have to inflate it. I can pop it off and use it as a seat. Pretty indestructible. I mean, it is getting chewed a little bit, but this is held up fine. And I mean, I'm used to sleeping on a hard surface from being in China. You know, I came back from China. I was more comfortable sleeping on the floor than I was at a bed. Beds were too soft. So, you know, if you really like a good cushion, you're going to want something a little more than this, but it works. It works for me. Then my Ledge. This is the Ledge sleeping bag I got. This was, I believe I got this on sale. This has been great. It's extremely warm. This is an extra long, it's folded over. It's an extra long bag, synthetic. Weighs about 4 pounds, but for the price, it's held up really well. Really like it. Good things to say about that. Still have an Osprey. This is my Osprey Rainfly. This has been all right. People complain that their Rainflies they don't work that well. I think there's something to that. I mean, but it's been, I mean, I'm still using it. It's satisfactory in that it is keeping my bag drier than it would be without it. And then the big change I have in my gear, it has been changing from an Atmos 50 to an Atmos 65. This is the Atmos 65. The big difference, well, first off, this bag has held up extremely well. The 50 I had between Maine and when I last did a video, which I think was Lincoln, had some tearing, like this material had torn. This is still intact. Basically everything with this bag is intact, and I don't know if it's because it's made a little sturdier or stitched a little differently, but this is definitely held up a little bit better. There's very little wear. The straps, I'll show you the straps. You can see here the Osprey logo. I'm sure that this is done just so they can see whether it's been used a lot. The straps are holding up well. There's been some wear here so that the Osprey logo has come off here. But I've been unable to really ascertain any major damage. One of the things I pointed out in my video about the Osprey 50 is the wear at these points here on the corners. Sorry, I'm trying to get a good view of this on the light. There is still some wear here, but and you can see here this is actually pretty worn here, because these are the points where the bag is contacting the ground. So there is some wear here. I'm not as concerned by it. I've noticed that the stitching seems to be done in such a way that this is minimalized in terms of you know, actually breaking. And Osprey has a really good warranty policy, so if this were to go, I'd be confident that I'd be able to get things taken care of with Osprey. They were extremely helpful in getting a replacement bag. I had lost a strap. This buckle, go with this one. Yeah, this had broken, this right here. And what I did was I hooked the carabiner through here and tied this off on the other end of the carabiner, and I was able to use the bag. I have met other people who've had some issues with these things breaking, and you know, my only suggestion would be that perhaps these could be made out of titanium or metal, so they wouldn't crack. I don't know if that would probably cause a weight issue. It would definitely cause a price issue, because I imagine these would be more expensive if they were metal. I don't know how metal would work with this fabric, so you know, there could be I imagine there are engineering issues that I'm unaware of, but I think the big one is cost and weight. That these are probably much cheaper to fabricate than metal pieces. But if these were metal, this would be even more sturdy. So you know, I don't know if it's something they could work on. So you know, the frame is holding up extremely well. This is the airflow. I mean, the airspeed. This is held up really well. One of the things I've noticed is that sometimes if my bag is extremely heavy, this will sometimes bite into my back, and I was unsure exactly what was happening because I would get like a little bit of a pain in the back. I just readjusted my bag, and I've learned to do that if I do get a pain out of it. And it's nothing sticking into you. It's just that this can sometimes, if the bag is on your back tightly, your back, the skin on your back will actually sort of mold to this, and if it moves, it'll kind of sting a little bit. But not a major issue, and one that's easily rectified. But you can see here, this is, again, from Manchester, Vermont, which is, I've had this probably, I think, about 700 miles. Manchester, Vermont to here. This has held up extremely well. No damage anywhere on it. Everything's working out great with this bag. Yeah, I keep an extra pair of carabiners in case I have an issue. Found some bandanas that I keep on the side here. Just when I'm hitchhiking, I like having something colorful on the back of my bag. It's preferably on the side where the road is or where the cars are when I'm hitchhiking, just to, you know, in theory, people will see this and not run me over unless they are out there to run people over, in which case it doesn't really matter. I also, another thing I have, which is proving to be really helpful, is the bivy bag. I would have liked to have had a tent. I'd feel better setting that up, especially in rainy conditions, because I can keep my gear and everything inside the sleeping bag. But this bivy has been great inside shelters. With the bag I have, the 20 bag I have, a liner, this makes me very comfortable when it gets really cold. It's waterproof and it doesn't breathe very well, but that's a good thing when it gets really cold because it traps heat, keeps you really warm. So the bivy bag has been great. This is the North Face backpacker bivy. This works really well. And as I go south and as it gets colder, I plan on using it inside shelters. I've only used it a couple of times over the last week or couple weeks when it's gotten really cold, but it's been great. And then I still have my Tyvek ground sheet, which I don't put over. I mean, in theory, I could put this over me. I could use this as an insulating layer, but instead I use it as a ground sheet inside the lean-tos, and if I set up the bivy outside, it's held up. It's filthy, but you know, it works. You can actually wash these too. You put them. You gotta be careful how you do it, but you can wash these in a washing machine. You certainly don't want to dry them. Don't put Tyvek in a dryer, but you can wash them. You can wash them by hand. Just hold. I've taken it into the shower with me a couple times and just got a little soap on it. It doesn't lose its the various properties it has by getting wet and being washed. So I hope that that's a good review of my gear. I think that covers everything. For guides, I still carry around the AWOL, and I also have Gut Hook's hiker guide on my iPhone. So that's it. My gear hasn't changed really at all. Carrying a little tiny umbrella, and I've got a better pack. Oh, the other thing with the Osprey 65, I completely forgot about it. There's the big difference between the 65 and the 50 is that there's this gear compartment. You can unzip. There's a zipper on the bottom that lets you access the gear compartment. The 50 does not have this zip on the bottom of the bag. And this is really handy. I put my sleeping bag in there inside a trash bag. Before I had to put the sleeping bag at the bottom, take everything out of my bag, get to my sleeping bag. So I do like this a lot. I'm not quite, I mean, I think the only reason why they don't have this on the 50 is weight. They're trying to make the 50 as close to an ultralight bag as they can. I mean, the Atmos 50 is technically an ultralight bag. But I'm assuming that that's the issue. They're taking this out to cut weight on the 50. So this is a really good addition, and it also there's an interior sling here that holds gear in place above it. So if you take your sleeping bag out, everything doesn't fall right out. Actually, it kind of does because they're things can slide around the side. So you got to be a little careful, but that's a great addition. Having this flap that you can open on the bottom to hold your sleeping bag. So again, I'm really happy with everything I've got. Oh, I didn't mention my LO Bean. This is my LO Bean Pro Shell. This is a really warm coat. I often wear it when I'm sleeping, and it's very durable. I sometimes will wear it in the morning when I'm getting started because until I heat up. It's very warm though. Over Capilene, it acts just like a winter coat. As it gets colder, I'll probably wear a fleece under it, and that's basically like wearing a parka. This is a very good coat, and I like it a lot. It costs this is the cheapest Gore-Tex Pro Shell that you can buy. I think it costs in the like $300 or something through LL Bean. The next expensive one, the Arc'teryx makes another one that's comparably priced. It's in the hundreds of dollars. But if you look at Pro Shell jackets, rain jackets, you're going to be they go up to rather pricey models. I mean, and those ones might have different configurations of rip cuffs and zippers and pockets and things. And if that's a consideration for you, that's you go with what you want. But I like the zippers on these. They're waterproof. Kind of see here. I like the zips on these. People have complained about the pockets on these. They don't like how they're configured, but it works for me for the price. It's a great coat. So that's what we got. Sorry if this is a little jumbled and disorganized, but I'm kind of jumbled and disorganized myself. So.